Hi, I'm a MTHS alumni that graduated in the class of 22, and this year I had a sibling graduating. And apparently there was no official recording being made and no live stream. So I went and just made a recording myself. I brought a nice video tripod and set it all up. And I didn't have the best lens for this, but I made do. It's a very high quality video. So better than nothing, I guess. Here it is, the entire ceremony.
Good afternoon, Hawks. Please welcome Mountlake staff, accompanied by additional staff from our feeder schools, as they lead our graduates into the stadium. Let's welcome the class of 2026 to the field. My name is David Friedel, and I have the privilege of serving as the principal of Mountlake Terrace High School. I am truly honored to celebrate this day with all of you. Mountlake Terrace High School is a place of incredible richness and diversity. It is a school filled with talent, dedicated staff, and in my admittedly biased opinion, the very best students in the Edmond School District. In the very relatively short time I've been part of the Mountlake Terrace community, he's already found a very special place in my heart. Today, we are joined not only by the staff of Mountlake Terrace High School, but also by educators from Briar Terrace Middle School, Briar Elementary School, Cedar Way Elementary School, Mountlake Terrace Elementary School, and Terrace Park School. These teachers, counselors, office staff, paraeducators, and support staff have all played a part in the journey that has led to this moment. Graduates, if you look behind you, you will see many of them seated right there. They are positioned quite literally behind you today, just as they have been figuratively behind you throughout your 13 years of education, encouraging you, challenging you, supporting you, and believing in you. They are incredibly proud of what you have accomplished and are honored to celebrate this milestone alongside you and your families. Can I have my national anthem singers approach? The microphone is in front of the band, please. Also joining us this afternoon, Dr. Rebecca Miner, Superintendent, Dr. Kaja, Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Greg Schwab, Assistant Superintendent, Dr. John Bell, Executive Director, Carrie Chase, School Board Member, Tom Gerard, School Board Member, Heath Smith, School Board Member, Peggy Aguilar, Assistant Principal, and Rosemary Burke, Assistant Principal. At this time, please rise and join students Lucas Parkman, Vanessa Drake Sargent, Percy Gilchrist, Snipe Dade for the singing of our national anthem. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proud stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the recognize some of the students in our graduating class who have achieved extraordinary academic distinction. The title valedictorian is reserved for students who have maintained a perfect 4.0 grade point average throughout all 4 years of high school. That means that across every class they have taken over the last 4 years, they have earned nothing less than an A. Would our valedictorians please stand and be recognized with a round warm of applause? We are also proud to recognize the seniors who have earned the Washington State Seal of Biliteracy. These students have demonstrated proficiency in both English and at least one additional language by meeting rigorous state standards. Their achievement reflects not only academic excellence, but also commitment to understanding and connecting with the broader world. Seniors who have earned the Seal of Biliteracy, would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you. We are also proud to recognize the graduates who have earned the Mountlake Terrace High School STEM diploma. Through a demanding sequence of courses in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, these students have challenged themselves to develop the critical thinking, creativity, and problem-solving skills that will serve them well in college, careers, and all opportunities that lie ahead. Graduates who have earned the STEM diploma, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. While we have taken a few moments to celebrate these special distinctions, I want to be clear about something. Every one of you sitting here today has accomplished something remarkable. You were here because you worked hard. You persevered through challenges. You adapted, grew, stumbled, got back up again, and kept moving forward. Over the course of 13 years, one day, one assignment, one test, one friendship, and one step at a time, you earned the right to cross the stage today and collect your diploma. But none of us gets to a moment like this entirely on our own. Looking up into these stands are the people who have been cheering you on from the very beginning. Your families, guardians, grandparents, siblings, and loved ones. They endured the early morning rushes, the endless practices and performances, the homework struggles around the kitchen table, and the moments when even they wondered, since when did math get so complicated? They were there to celebrate your victories, comfort you through disappointments, and encourage you to keep going when things got hard. To the families and loved ones of the Mountlake Terrace High School class of 2026, thank you. Thank you for your love, your sacrifice, your patience, and your unwavering support. The remarkable young people sitting before you are, in no small part, a reflection of the care and commitment you have poured into them over the years. Graduates, when this ceremony comes to an end and you find your families out in the courtyard, I hope you take a moment to tell them how much they mean to you and to thank them for the opportunities, encouragement, and love they have given you. Because the truth is, it isn't just you who are graduating today. Your families are graduating with you. Seniors, would you please stand, look up into those stands up there, and give your family and loved ones a well-deserved standing ovation. Thank you. You may be seated. Now it is my privilege to turn the microphone over to some of the outstanding leaders from the class of 2026. Please join me in welcome Adam Messias. A founding member of the ASB leadership team and an inspired representative of the class of 2026. Adam, it's all yours.
Good afternoon, y'all. My name is Adam. Before I begin, I'd like to thank my dad, Isaias Hapta, and my mom, Ursalum Kasai, and my grandma, Hadas Tekla, who helped raise me. And I'd also like to thank my siblings, Alex and Arsema, my extended family, teachers, counselors, coaches, friends, and everyone who has helped me along the way. I'd also like to thank my boys, Andrew, Zach, Joaquin, Pascal, and Jack, for helping me with this speech. If I were to list my top 3 favorite words, my third favorite word would be food. Anybody has like extra, candy lace, please. I love free stuff, so number 2 would be free, especially free. But most of all, my favorite word is the word yes. The reason why I'm able to stand up on this stage and speak to y'all is because of the word yes. Yes is more than just a word. It's part of my family's story. It's part of my culture. My family comes from Eritrea, a small country in East Africa. Growing up, I was and still am very close to my family, including my grandpa. And my grandpa was known for being a great storyteller. Most of his stories revolved around him saying yes to simple things, like being the first in his village to fly a plane or saying yes to protecting younger kids from the older ones. But when it came down to the big things, he also knew the importance of saying yes. In the early 1980s, after leaving Eritrea during wartime, my dad and his family arrived in neighboring Sudan as refugees. They settled in the capital city of Khartoum, where my grandpa worked as a carpenter. He built a pretty good living in Khartoum, helping construct many of the buildings that stand in the city today. Then an opportunity appeared, immigrating to the United States. It would have been easier to stay where life was familiar, but he said, I'd rather let my kids be hungry and educated than full and uneducated. So he said yes. He didn't know much about America except country music, but in 1983, my family landed in Seattle. Because he said yes, all 8 of his children became college graduates. Because he said yes, my parents were able to build a life here. Because he said yes, I got to stand on the stage today. This mindset is one of the greatest gifts my culture and background has given me. Even here at Terrace, that lesson followed me everywhere. I did track under Coach Malloy. All of us Coach Malloy athletes know what it's like before a big meter game. He'll look at you and he's like, uh-oh, big game tomorrow. What I need is what you got. Seize the opportunity. Is that it, Coach? Can I do a question? Every time he said that, I thought about my grandpa. Because whether it was an Eritrean refugee taking a chance on a new country or a high school athlete stepping onto a track, the lesson was the same. Opportunities matter, and you've got to say yes. Now, most of y'all know my time and work on ASB, our Associated Student Body, but nobody really knows the story and how I got there. I'm in Snohomish for this track meet freshman year, and back in the day, I used to run long-distance events. Before track meets, I used to eat a whole pack of gummy worms because I like gummy worms. I know it's not a good idea, but now I'm sitting in the back of the stadium, and there was this kid, Daryl, and he sits right next to me. He's like, Adam, what are you doing next year? And I'm like, I don't know, school? How am I supposed to know what I'm gonna do in a year? And he's like, join ASB. And I'm like, yes. Who knew that the simple yes could change my life? Over the next 3 years, ASB profoundly changed the person I was. I went from being shy and not really know anyone to definitely being more outwardly an extrovert. I was able to learn how to take initiative, plan things, lead people, and because of that simple yes, all of a sudden the whole world opened up for me. I also became the man of opportunity, a sort of yes man. Not like, dude, let's jump off that house and break that table with our bodies, yes man, but in a beneficial way. Anything beneficial to me, I took it, because that's how it benefited saying yes, just like my grandpa, and how it would positively affect my life and life skills. Computer science job opens up at UW, I took it. Waffle's doing this crazy cool lift up, let's do it too. We need somebody to lead track warm-ups, shoot, I'm your guy. Class of 26, if there's one lesson I can share with you, it's to seize that opportunity. Say yes. For me, those yeses became thousands of miles away in Eritrea. It continued in Sudan. It continued when my family came to America, and then down to me, being the reason I am able to do this speech. Because as I just said, Daryl joined ASB, I was able to coordinate all these events, design and direct our LibDev. Gosh, the new one, Hawk TV on YouTube. And for me, I was able to become a better orator, a better planner, and a better leader. Skills I will take to the University of Washington, go Huskies, to study computer science and Go Huskies. The rapper Rick Ross said, if I had that opportunity, you know what I'm saying? Class of 26, when that opportunity arises, you know what I'm saying? Take it. Say yes. Thank you. Speaker is the senior class selected speaker, Medina Abdurashidova.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Medina. And today, I want to share part of my journey at MTHS, how I found my community and achieved some of my biggest dreams. Back in September 2024, at the start of my junior year, I didn't know what the phrase lock-in meant. I had just moved to the US with my family from Uzbekistan, and English was my third language. Sitting in my English 11 class, I overheard my classmates saying things like, I'm going to lock in this year, I've got this. Naturally, the first thing that I did that day was Google. What does lock in mean? Was it about lockers? Locking myself in a room? I know. It may sound like an obvious phrase, but at that time, I truly had no idea what it meant. Junior year came with a lot of ups and downs. I was adjusting to a new school system where English was the main language, working a part-time job, helping translate documents for my family while my dad was still learning English, and studying late into the night. Some days, I felt like giving up. Some days, I felt overwhelmed. However, one night, as I was getting ready for bed, I overheard my mom talking on the phone with her sister. She was sharing how life was going, and for the first time, I heard about the challenges she was facing. You see, my mom has never been the kind of person who talks much about her struggles. Whenever I looked at her, she always seemed strong, confident, and ready for whatever came next. That night, I realized my mom didn't have everything planned out. She wasn't living a perfectly organized life, but she still kept going. And for the first time, I understood that locking in doesn't mean having a perfect plan. It means continuing forward even when you don't know what exactly comes. Up until then, I've been trying to figure everything out on my own. And I saw that if I just worked hard and studied longer, everything would somehow fall into place. Instead, I started doing something much simpler. I started talking to people. I started sharing my story, staying after school, asking questions, joining clubs, and more. And in doing so, I found the people who would become my community. I'm so grateful for the people who are there to listen. My close friends, Rochelle Aguare, Calabia Wayland Robinson, Sadie Ballinger, Aaron Hernandez Mendoza, and many more amazing friends. My teachers, Mr. Johnston, who made math fun, and Miss Widrick, who listened to my broken English and understood me with her heart. My dad, who worked hard in his ESL classes. My mom, who sacrificed so much for her children. And the family friends, who helped us adjust to a new country. As I became more comfortable, I started giving back to the community that had welcomed me. I became a Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Ambassador, joined the Superintendent Student Advisory Committee, and performed a solo traditional Uzbek dance at the Multicultural Assembly. Through these experiences, I realized I wasn't just finding a community, I was becoming part of it. During these past 2 years, I learned how to lock in. Not just the Google definition, but the mindset behind it. Showing up when things are difficult and continuing forward even when you are unsure of the outcome. I also learned that where you start doesn't necessarily define where you end up. What matters is your willingness to try, adapt, and keep going. Today, I want to celebrate everyone. My classmates, friends, teachers, my parents, Feruza Muratimova and NHS for Life. I'm incredibly proud of everyone and how far you guys have come. As we step into the next chapter of our lives, whether that's college, work, or something entirely different, I hope we carry with us the courage to take risks, the resilience to overcome challenges, and the openness to keep learning from the people around us. Congratulations, class of 2026. Thank you. is MTHS staff selected speaker Zach Degree-Machado.
Hi guys. Thank God I'm not going last, bro. Sheesh. Wow. This feels so unreal. It probably feels a little more real for my family because I kind of did forget to tell them I was speaking today, so how's it going, guys? What's up, Mom? You know, actually, not that long ago, I was having this conversation with my dad, and we were talking about graduation and talking about life, and it was a long conversation. But he had asked me this question that really stuck with me, and he said, Zach, if you had the chance to stand in front of 1,000 people, what do you think you'd say? At the time, I was clueless. I didn't really know, but now I'm standing here looking at all of you, and I think this is my answer. You see, we all know school's been a long road filled with unforgettable teachers, the most exciting homework assignments ever created, and of course, the countless conversations with ChatGPT, but I want you all to look away from that for a second, and I want you to look forward. And I don't mean forward like the fun we're gonna have tonight. I don't mean forward like next year either. I mean really forward, like 10 years from now. I want you to imagine your future self sitting across from you, handing you a list of things they regret never doing. A list of chances they never took, risks they were too scared of taking, or moments they let pass because they were afraid of failure, rejection, looking stupid, or just being uncomfortable. When I asked myself that question, I realized something. I realized that every experience is worth having. Because at the end of the day, the things we regret most usually aren't the times we failed. It's the times we never tried in the first place. For me, this speech was one of those things. Standing up here is uncomfortable, it's nerve-wracking, but 10 years down the line, I never want to look back and think, oh man, I wish I would have done it. And I think this applies to all of us. After tonight, life is going to move fast. Some of us are going to succeed quickly, some of us are going to struggle before we figure things out. And some of us are going to completely change the plans we have right now, and honestly, that's okay. Because life isn't about having everything figured out immediately, it's about continuing to move forward anyways. So whatever path you take after today, don't let fear make the decisions for you. Take the opportunity, apply for the job, start that business, travel somewhere new, tell people how you really feel. Because one day, the life that we're imagining for ourselves right now is going to become a reality. Because years from now, when you look back at this version of yourself, I hope you can honestly say, I'm glad I went for it. And now for my thank yous. Thank you to all the teachers and staff members who nominated me to give this speech and for giving me this voice. And I especially want to say thank you to my two amazing parents who are here with me today. My mom, who works tirelessly just to put clothes on my back, and my dad, who along with my aunt, flew all the way from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, just to be here. That means more to me than words can explain. I also want to say thank you to my amazing sister, who was the only person who knew I was writing this speech. And I also want to say thank you to my boys. You guys know who you are. And lastly, it wouldn't be a real graduation speech if I didn't leave you guys off with a couple of quotes. So first, I see that not trying is the ultimate failure. And finally, remember, if every day was a good day, then there would be no good days. But lucky for us, today is a great day. Congratulations. Not only did I have the honor to give a speech today, but I also have the honor to introducing my good friend and our fellow valedictorian, your next speaker, Allison Mervin.
Sorry, it's Wendy. There's a few pages for them. Good evening, families, friends, teachers, and fellow graduates. My name is Allison Mervin, and I am so honored to be speaking with you today as a valedictorian of the class of 2026. People always say high school is about overcoming challenges, and it is. But standing here today, I realize it's also about something even more important, the people around us. The good people, the ones who make the hard days bearable and the best days unforgettable. For me, those are those girls up front. There's a quote, overcome, but remember the importance around you, the good people. And that idea stayed with me, but it didn't fully make sense until this year, until a moment I won't forget. It wasn't until my close friend ran her last race that the message truly found me. Afterward, she asked a simple but heavy question. What am I supposed to do next? And somehow, that question didn't just belong to her. It belonged to all of us. Because suddenly, I started hearing it everywhere. In the quiet after our last big test, after our last performances, after our last games. Who am I next? For so long, we've defined ourselves by titles and roles. We introduce ourselves by what we do. I'm an athlete, I'm a musician, I'm a leader. High school gave us those identities. It gave us structure, something to hold on to, something who told us who we were. But what happens when the season ends, when the curtain falls, when the title fades? We're left with a harder question. Who am I without that label? And that's not easy. In a time that's supposed to be about self-discovery, it's so easy to attach our identity to something temporary, to build who we are around something that won't last forever. Here's what I've come to understand. Titles are temporary, but your character is not. How you make people feel, how you show up, how you care, that's what stays. It's easy to feel like one day you had everything figured out, and then suddenly the next day you feel like you're back at square one. But maybe the truth is, we were never meant to just be one thing. Life isn't about arriving somewhere fixed, it's about becoming. So you might be an athlete, an artist, a son or a daughter, but more deeply, you are thoughtful, resilient, compassionate, and creative. Those are the truths that define you. Not your accolades, but the way you light up the world around you. And that's something no ending can take away. While senior year is full of lots of endings, know that you are not standing at the end of something, but instead you are standing at the edge of the beginning. It can be tempting to look back, to think about the pep rallies, the games, the bus rides, the moments that felt small but became everything. The friendships we didn't realize were shaping us in real time. And maybe the hardest part of today is knowing we won't get those exact moments back. But maybe that's what makes them so meaningful. They weren't meant to last forever, they were meant to change us. Life beyond the walls of these classrooms will not always be kind. There will be days when you feel lost, when doubt creeps in and whispers that you are not enough. There will be moments when the weight feels heavier than anything you've ever carried, but remember this, you've already overcome so much, and you will do it again and again because that was who you are. So let us not be afraid to love, because love is what makes life truly meaningful. Let us not be afraid to dream, because dreams shape the world. Let us not forget where we came from, and the lessons we learned, and the people who stood beside us, because those are the things that will anchor us when life becomes uncertain. Before I close, I want to speak to my parents, Mom and Dad. Everything I'm sitting here as today is because of you. You gave me more than support, you gave me belief. In the early mornings, the late night, the sacrifices I didn't always understand at the time. The encouragement I always needed, you guys were there. And I hope you know that everything I do moving forward carries a part of you with it. So to the class of 2026, we may be leaving this place, but we are not leaving empty-handed. We carry the lessons, the memories, and most importantly, the people. Wherever life takes us next, that will always be enough. So thank you and congratulations. The mic back to Mr. Frito, who's going to take us to the next part of our ceremony.
Thank you, Allison, and thank you to our student speakers. I think you'll all agree that the class of 2026 is represented by some truly remarkable young people. Let's give one more round of applause to Adam, Medina, Zach, and Allison. This time, we are honored to feature one final performance by some of our talented Mountlake Terrace High School musicians. Under the direction of Ethan Powell, they will perform Overture to Royal Fireworks. Thank you to our musicians and Mr. Powell for that wonderful performance. Before I share a few thoughts of my own, I want to pause and recognize the remarkable young people you just heard from. I had the opportunity to read these speeches before today, and what struck me was that each of these students wrote independently. They didn't compare notes or collaborate. They all arrived at many of the same ideas. Adam reminded us to say yes to opportunities that can change our lives. Bettina shared that locking in isn't about having a perfect plan. It's about continuing forward even when you don't know what comes next. Zach challenged us not to let fear make our decisions. And Allison reminded us that while titles and accomplishments may come and go, our character and the people we carry with us are what truly define us. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think it's something very important. It says something very important about the class of 2026. You have grown up in a world that often tells you that you need to have your future mapped out and your identity completely figured out. But listening to your classmates today, I think you've learned something much more valuable. Life isn't about having all the answers. It's about saying yes to opportunity, having the courage to take the first step, leaning on the people around you, and becoming a little better with every experience along the way. And after spending this year getting to know you, I don't think this class will be remembered simply for grades, championships, performances, or where you go after high school. I think you'll be remembered for the way you have shown up for one another. You are a class that values inclusion, celebrates different backgrounds and perspectives, and understands that a community is strongest when everyone belongs. In a world that can sometimes feel divided, that may be one of the greatest gifts you can offer. In just a few moments, we will be walking across the stage and earning our diplomas and officially become graduates of Mountlake Terrace High School. Some of you know exactly what comes next. Others are still figuring it out. The truth is, both are perfectly okay. What matters is not what you have every detail of your future planned. What matters is that when opportunity comes, you have the courage to say yes. That when life gets difficult, you keep moving forward. That you don't let fear keep you from trying. And that no matter where life takes you, you never lose sight of the people and values that made you who you are. Class of 2026, thank you for letting me be a small part of your story. This community is stronger because you have been part of it. And Mountlake Terrace High School will always be a place where you belong. Superintendent Minor and School Board Member Karen Chase, it is with pride and honor that I hand over the ceremony to you for the presentation of the class of 2026.
As superintendent, it is my honor to certify to the Board of Directors of the Edmonds School District that the Mountlake Terrace High School class of 2026 seated before you has completed the graduation requirements of the Edmonds School District and State of Washington. Director Chase and Edmonds School District Board of Directors, I present to you the Mountlake Terrace High School class of 2026.
Of the Edmonds School Board of Directors, I accept the Mountlake Terrace High School class of 2026. Congratulations, graduates.
As we prepare to bring this ceremony to a close, we invite you to enjoy one final Mountlake Terrace tradition. Performed, hold on, I'm ahead of myself, my apologies. That's interesting. Front row of graduates. Let's do this part. We don't want to skip this next part, right? Yeah, let's do this part. Front row, graduates, stand up. Back and Adam, will you take the microphone, please? You guys rehearse this, go ahead. Yep.
Jack Grippentroy. Owen Meek.
Andrew Siler.
Allison Mergen.
Mira Olson.
Joaquin Costales.
Burley Dubio.
Mia Reinheimer.
Kristen Noelani Bentosino.
Sadie Parker.
Daphne Osborne.
Sarah Semula.
Tyler Charles.
Masha Amirhanova.
Amin Castellanos.
Danielle Sahachasari.
Lois Asherman.
Harish Yogaswaran.
Caleb Zeka.
Yarinette Hernandez Mendoza.
Noah Hopkins.
Cicely Whites.
Devin Yee.
Jacqueline Ray Gonzalez.
Vananya Hukamchari.
Darby Crompton.
Soren Wagner Norman.
Luca DeKukuk.
Stephen Yao.
Catherine Woodman.
Lilia Kudo.
Isabella Pereira.
Natalia Supon Bhakti.
Sophia Suchi.
Sadie Belanger.
Medina Abdurashidova.
John Lynn.
Abigail Norman Boots.
Jimmy Pham.
Tristan Wexler.
Bria Tate.
Sean Connors.
Wyatt Bills.
Ahmed Abubakar Khan.
Leighton Runkle.
Liam Moore.
Jace Fire.
Nicholas Harris.
Kellen Fleming.
Amaya Johnson.
Ruby Gilbert.
Jaden Rencon.
Nick Portillo.
Noah Foster.
Kale Peterson.
Christina Caros.
Violet Boucher.
Aiden Casper.
Percy Gilchrist.
Cedar Canal.
Aubrey Moulton.
Jordan Hamlin.
Nathan Coble.
Antonio Lopez Hernandez.
Matthew Thomas.
Harrison Hayes.
Mauricio Palma.
Bobby Arunbelik.
Ahmedjan Ibrahimov.
Junhoo Lee.
Mason Kim.
Amelia Bowman.
JJ Hill.
Drew Cutler.
Samaya Coffey.
Jordan Wagner.
Mason Tinkle.
Henry McDaniel.
Chip Gilstrap.
Sophie Trainer.
Soren Rammerman.
Isaiah Wilder.
Rashad Raj.
Liam Bartolome.
Mohammed Fatih.
Tyler Lee.
Joshua Bosick.
Joshua Kim.
Magnus Davis.
Charles Baudet.
Alex Moreland.
Owen Smith.
Liliana Lockhart.
Devin Allstott.
Joshua Gurney.
Tate Haney.
Adelaide St. John.
Madeline Keating.
Sina Kinane.
Lucas Barkin.
Marlo Grather.
Sierra Swan.
Rochelle O'Barry.
Calliope Raylan Robinson.
Dua Ahmad.
Hayden Studley.
Sumaya Yusuf.
Roman Rose.
Sylvia Turner.
Wyatt Everett.
Leah Martins.
Jade Valley.
Brooklyn Marino.
Dean Thompson.
Travis Jason Atchison.
Audrey Rivera Saxby.
Emeka Achero.
Tenzin Nemgel.
Anderson.
Charlie Schofield.
Gabriel Jaloski.
Wyatt Gutting.
Thomas McGowan.
Dominic Corey.
Leslie Thorson.
Miley McCaig Manuel.
Brooklyn Bender.
Amanda Waymo.
Salome Gonzalez Angel.
Leah Desktop.
Camden Curtis.
Alice Guan.
Jacob Chung.
Jonas Karpowitz.
Ethan Brower.
Gunnar Wilson.
Emmanuel Weems.
Colin Guerrero.
Dallas Carrero.
Joshua Leitner.
Jacob Gomez.
Jordan Wilson.
Evie Snow.
Ellie Cooper Wellman.
Taylor Morrison.
Reese Couch.
Jenna Sanders.
Brianna Reyes.
Brooke McDougall.
Abigail Fitzpatrick.
Chelsea Gerton.
Javaria Ali.
Tremont Ho.
Catherine Nguyen.
Jaden Lynn.
Anderson Pack.
Joshua Chung.
Alexander Smith. Taylor Dean.
Chloe Curran.
Bryce Fonson.
Madison Black.
Brooklyn Steele.
Bailey Rourke.
Jennifer Mondragon Mendoza.
Sophia Ibrahim.
Luke Moulton.
Nolan Case.
Ethan Cowles.
Jonathan Coatside.
Colby Shepard.
Brandon Vaughn.
Theo Abero.
Lydia Fitzhugh.
Berta Sea Bautista.
Carlos Hernandez Bermudez.
Jacob Marion Doyle.
Sarah Tago.
Imani Munoz.
Abigail Wedede.
Kaylin Bagley.
Hallie Connolly.
Sabin Metallo.
David Cardwell.
Alex Joka.
Yusuf Agamat.
Ethan Young.
Georgie Sharabah.
Aiden Tran.
Bryce Moody.
Terry Wood.
Liam Tate.
Maddox Langlow.
C.U. Cow.
Majid Majidi.
Christian Kosar.
Isanola Hakiar.
Murtaza Hussein.
Hamza Al-Hilal.
Fatula Qureshi.
Ali Reza Qurbani.
Jackson Howard.
Christian Samuel.
Nathan Bagney.
William Lynn.
Naol Alenu.
Atape Lopez.
Kevin Macastibian.
Suleni Ayala Mata.
Bethel Asfa.
Rueda Mohammed.
Abigail Tecklin.
Denai Solomon.
Iman Kefa.
Selma Beza.
Skylar McKay.
Jackson Fierce.
Sebastian Bailon.
Travis Herbert.
Jack Skitchell.
Jake Lance.
Vanessa Drake Sargent.
Grayson Brown.
Buddy Frank.
Jalen Rosabella Segui.
Mason Delaney.
Danny Munoz.
Sabrina Bermudez Darden.
Comet Lovelace.
Trainer Hansen.
Xavier Brown. Emmanuel Portillo. Emily Benish.
Casey Ukai.
Christian Hernandez de la Cruz.
David Huerta.
Christopher Reyes Bautista.
Karen Guillen Mendoza.
Gervon Avalos.
Donna Alvarez.
Camila Capello.
Samara Agueton da Silva.
Amanueli da Silva.
Swan Lee Wynn.
Ryan Pineda.
Maria Treparina.
Eli Megan.
Nate Brown.
Aaron Hatfield.
Dondre DeGray.
Cody Akenaika.
Marlson Celovez.
Jamie Taylor.
Nicholas Roach.
Mason Pollard.
John Bunto.
Patricia Pottinger.
Akeisha Prasad.
Taylor Kang.
McKenna Lay. Natalia Zamudio Perez.
Diana Mejia Rangel.
Hannah Mary Doyle. Mursala Midi.
Marwa Faizi.
Adam Ferris.
Yusuf Siddiqui.
Santiago Ramirez Rose.
Shahir Ahmed.
Zion Azim.
Fahad Al-Dafai.
Abdul Najib.
Eklavia Sharma.
Raul Almonte Ramirez.
Andrew Frary.
Luke Wallace.
Luna Lockhart.
Chloe Fallison.
Elliot Woolworth.
Adrian Surajoto.
Conlon McLeod.
Mitchell Reinhardt.
Calvin Duen.
Melvin Paddock. Marcos Sanchez Moreno.
Jimmy Bernhardt.
Latrell Hill.
Nia Robinson.
Michaela Nix.
Liam Reese.
Samuel Lansberger.
Alex Kennedy.
Alex Stern.
River Buckingham.
Hayes Johnson.
Georgia Ralla.
Dewey Jones.
Reese Ennis.
Kayan Wilson.
Elijah Driscoll.
Jason Perkins.
Danica Kilpack.
Maya Troy.
Ollie Higdon. Dana Day.
Mohammed Silla.
Common Tegleski.
Ashley Jeffers.
Ian Deborah Hewitt.
Jesus Oriana Mendez.
Oscar Gonzalez.
Kelvin James Strickland.
Ramsey Enid.
Right, you ready?
Sir, last but not least.
Zach Camacho.
Adam Gonzalez.
It is my great honor to present to you the newest graduates of Mountlake Terrace High School class 2026. As we bring this ceremony to a close, we invite you to enjoy one final Mountlake Terrace tradition performed by our outstanding MTHS musicians under the direction of Ethan Powell. Please join us for the singing of our school alma mater. Class president will lead the class of 2026 in the turning of the tassel, the symbolic moment that marks their official transition from students to proud alumni of Mountlake Terrace High School. Following that tradition, our graduates will exit the stadium carefully from the north side and out to the courtyard, where they will reunite with you all. Please stay seated, you all, until everyone has exited up here, and then you will follow on either side to the courtyard. Now, it is my pleasure to invite our ASB president, Sadie Belanger, who will lead the class of 2026 in one of the most meaningful traditions of graduation, turning of the tassel. Sadie?
President. First, I want to say that I'm so proud of all of our achievements. Our senior class has definitely proved that Terrace is an outstanding school. Thank you so much for all of the memories, and thank you so much to my family and my friends. Graduates, we will now take part in one of the most meaningful traditions of the ceremony, the turning of the tassel. This simple act symbolizes your transition from student to graduate and marks the completion of the hard work, perseverance, and dedication that have brought you to this moment. When I ask you to do so, but not quite yet, because we're going to share this moment together, you will reach up and move your tassel from the right side of your cap to the left. I repeat, the right side of your cap to the left. By making this symbolic gesture together, you join the generations of graduates who have come before you. After the turning of this tassel, as Mr. Friedel said, you will walk calmly to the courtyard, where you will be reunited with your family and friends. So, with that, let's bring the 2026 school year to a close. Graduates, hands on your tassels! Ready?